Hey guys, so we are doing chapter 24. Every time I say hey guys, this is just a little side note, little nugget for you, but Thunder, our dog, looks up and his tail starts wagging, like he thinks I'm talking to him or something. You can hear his tail hit the ground sometimes when we're talking. But we are going to be in chapter 24. Last video, I didn't see the time, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a longer video. Luckily for you, what I'm talking about, the verses I'm talking about here, are pretty much a mirror of what I talked about in the last video, so I don't have to go that long. It just shows that we need to reiterate things sometimes for our minds. So, I'm going to start in verse 1 of chapter 24. Do not envy the wicked, do not desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. The wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. Surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisers. Wisdom is too high for fools. In the assembly at the gate they must not open their mouths. Whoever plots evil will be known as a schemer. The schemes of folly are sin, and people detest a mocker. If you are a falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Sorry, that's a weird sentence.
If you falter in a time of trouble.
It's probably my reading. If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Rescue those being led away to death. Hold back those staggering toward slaughter. If you say, but we know nothing about this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who guards your life know it? Will he not repay everyone according to what they have done? Eat honey, my son, for it is good. Honey from the comb is sweet to your taste. Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there is future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Do not lurk like a thief near the house of the righteous. Do not plunder their dwelling place. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. Do not gloat when your enemy falls. When they stumble, do not let your heart rejoice. Or the Lord will see and disapprove and turn his wrath away from them.
Do not fret because of evildoers, or be envious of the wicked. For the evildoer has no future hope, and the lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out. Fear the Lord and the king, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials. For those two will send sudden destruction on them, and who knows what calamities they can bring. These also are sayings of the wise. To show partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, will be cursed by peoples and denounced by nations. But it will go well with those who convict the guilty, and rich blessing will come on them. An honest answer is like a kiss on the lips. Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to mislead? Do not say, I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man.
Okay, so I'm going to be in verses 1 and 2. So I'm going to read it again. Do not envy the wicked, do not desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. Again, from a commentator, it says this. This is a common and sometimes difficult temptation for the righteous man or woman, because there are times when evil men seem to prosper and we may become envious of them and then desire to be with them. But just like the last time, it says that they have nothing for us, right? They have no hope. And now it says, do not be envy of the wicked or desire their company, for their hearts plot violence and their lips talk about making trouble. So the last time we read in verse 17, it says, there is surely a future hope for you if you are zealous towards the fear of the Lord, and your hope will not be cut off. Therefore, their hope, the sinner's hope, will be cut off. For the wicked, don't be envious of them, because they plot violence and talk about making trouble. So you should not be envious of sinners or envious of the wicked, which they're just correlating verses, right? They match each other. They talk about the same thing. Don't be in their company. Don't desire to be in their company. It's not even about being in their company. It actually says, do not desire to be in their company. Do not desire it. Don't want it. Don't look for it. Don't seek it out. Don't be a part of it, because they plot violence and trouble. And remember that I read last time, sin will not go unpunished in eternity. Righteousness will not go unrewarded in eternity. It may seem on earth or this side of eternity that sin is unpunished and righteousness is unrewarded, but that's not true. God will reward the righteous and punish the sinner and the wicked.
All right. So I'm focusing on verses, I'm just going to do 16 through 18. It's shorter than yesterday. But it says, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. I'm just going to stop there for just a minute. One commentator, I hadn't even thought of it, but when it talks about the righteous falling, it could mean trouble or sin. It's not really specified. And one commentator just said there's no reason why it couldn't mean both. So I don't know whether it's meaning trouble or sin, but you can look at it either way. But when I first was reading this, I was thinking about our current situations. Just all the businesses that are going down right now. And so for the righteous person, if say their business fails, some people might think, man, that really sucks. They're never going to recover, but they'll rise again. But if the same thing were to happen to the wicked, like it's over. Maybe that's a wrong way of looking at it, but that was just where my mind went when I read through that. The people who are right in their ways, who are hardworking, who are honest and have integrity, they're going to be able to come back from something like this. They're going to overcome these things, and I hope that that's true for you in your life, that you're living a righteous life, so that when bad things like coronavirus come along, that you're not expecting, that just make
He's a
such
prophet.
Yeah.
He's a prophet. When coronavirus comes along, well, he already did.
Yeah. When bad things like.
You guys hear what a man's going to say, because being righteous during times of trouble matter. And here's why. Whether you're a Christian or not, you know bad times happen. And if you don't, read the Bible. Mm-hmm. James tells us, when trials come, when you face trials of many kinds, so not just they might happen, they will, and you're going to face many kinds. You've heard me say that before. So what Amanda is saying is very important during these troubling times.
But I think these next couple verses really play into social media right now, because when a lot of people are just taking sides, they're not looking at it through different lenses, they're looking at it from one perspective. They're only allowing people that believe what they believe to speak into their life, and they're not recognizing that there's merit to both sides. And so they're posting things. I see Christians posting things when somebody on the other side fails, and saying good for them. They're even some people rejoicing in the death of somebody else. And it's heartbreaking to see this right now, to see that even Christians can succumb to this idea that if the wicked fall, that's a good thing. We should never be rejoicing in that. We should be sad-hearted, because that's how the Lord feels. He doesn't want any of this stuff to be happening. And then it goes on to say, or the Lord will see and disprove, and he will turn his wrath away from them. So we should always be wanting to be brokenhearted for the same things that God is brokenhearted for. I remember there's a couple years ago, we were at a camp and we were listening to the song Hosanna, and the bridge says, heal my heart and make it clean, open up my eyes to the things unseen, show me how to love like you have loved me, break my heart for what breaks yours, everything I am for your kingdom's cause, as I walk from earth into eternity. And I remember praying that prayer for God to break my heart for what broke his. And over the course of those few days that we were at this camp, I just remember just feeling so brokenhearted over things that, and in the past sometimes I had mocked a little bit, or had thought that it wasn't that big of a deal. And so I would encourage you to pray that same prayer if that's something that you're struggling with, especially, to ask God to break your heart for those same things. And I didn't recognize these things and just get completely depressed. Instead, I recognized what was going on around me that was breaking God's heart, and I was able to pray for those situations better. And then in the end, I felt more at peace about them. But just be careful. The things that you're thinking about, the people around you, especially when you see somebody who's not living up to par, who's not doing things the way you would.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah. Along the lines of what Amanda said, like, people are taking sides, and in a way that's good, right? You have to stand up for what you believe in. I saw this quote the other day and it was really good. And it says this: in order to empathize with someone's experience, you must be willing to believe them as they see it, and not how you imagine their experience to be. In order to empathize with someone's experience, you must be willing to believe them as they see it, and not how you imagine their experience to be. It is okay to take sides. I think we should stand up for what's right. But just putting someone down because they have a different experience or belief than you is completely the opposite of what you should be doing. Listen, learn to understand. What's the saying? Walking a mile in their shoes, right? Like, just understand where they're coming from. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to, but at least understand it, right? At least understand how they are experiencing things and how they believe it to be.
Yeah. And if you were to walk a mile in somebody's shoes, that's going to take you probably at least 10 to 15 minutes if you're walking and not like doing the fast walking competitions that they talk about. So it takes some time. Don't just hear it and then go on with your way. Take some time to really think about views that go against your own, and recognize that even if they're not fully believable or fully right? Maybe that person doesn't have a full understanding. That doesn't mean that you can't learn something from it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I think we talked ourselves out on the last video.
Yeah. So, talking about a lot of difficult things, but a lot of important things. So, thanks for joining us, you guys. Be reading your Bibles, be praying. Let's figure out how to make this world a better place together for God.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
For through the righteous fall 7 times, though the righteousness fall. Woo!